Hello, sweet souls. It's DTO in the flow. Wishing you a beautiful moment. As always, I encourage you to take a deep breath and let it out. So, I am podcasting live from Costa Rica. First of all, I want to welcome you into any possibility for you to come and check out our beautiful wellness and retreat center. Some of you have been following us on social media for quite a few years to see the developments, and it is all happening. So come on down. The water's warm, and you deserve a vacation, a little slice of paradise. And as always, you can follow me on socials, DTO Music, dtomusic.com. And during this live streaming podcast, we encourage you to comment, ask a question, and share. And if anything, for those beautiful algorithms that we embrace, you can just choose your favorite emoji and drop it into the comments of wherever this is streaming. All right, with no further ado, I want to share with you who these amazing souls are on our podcast. We have two for the price of one. So, first of all, we have Johanna Beekman, who is an internationally acclaimed singer, songwriter, chant, kirtan artist, and yoga teacher, vocal teacher, recording artist, and event producer. As a musician, Johanna is loved for her rich, soulful voice, her radiant spirit, and her inspirational songs and chants that tap deeply into our collective soul. Johanna incorporates her music into her uniquely restorative lullaby yoga classes and helps her students reconnect with their inner child and their true nature. Her highly praised Mantra Sangha video brings together artists from all over the globe to support the education of Nepali children. Johanna also produces and co produces several yoga and conscious music festivals to celebrate our shared humanity. The word masterful and remarkable is for Johanna, and also I'm sliding into Ben Leinbach's beautiful bio, because what Ben touches turns to gold. Ben has been working with a variety of artists for many years. When reviewing the music created by Ben, he is an award-winning producer that not only is a composer, he's a sound engineer, and he's a multi-instrumentalist. Ben aspires to create transcendent music that highlights a broad spectrum of the human experience, the beauty and the darkness, the love and the longing, the joy and the melancholy. Ben has a hope that through exploring this emotional terrain that the listener will feel more deeply and alive more fully. So, as you can see on the image here, we are going to be speaking about Yoga Soundtracks Volume 2. And here's a description of what this project is. So, Johanna Beekman and Ben Leinbach is a celebration of life with Yoga Soundtracks Volume 2. It is a soul-stirring release of two kindred spirits, Johanna and Ben, who have joined forces to create a masterpiece that harmonizes body, mind, and spirit. This album serves as a unique offering designed to captivate both yoga enthusiasts and fans of beautiful music alike. Featuring some of the foremost vocalists and multi-instrumentalists of modern-day yoga soundtracks, including Sheila Brings, Benji Wertheimer, Girish, and Hans Christian. Prepare to immerse yourself in a tapestry of enchanting melodies that will transport you to a place of serenity and unity on or off the mat. Okay, let's bring on these amazing fellow artists. Hello, how are you doing today?
Good. Good morning. Or what do you got there? Afternoon? Is it around 1 in the afternoon or something for you?
Yeah, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Yes, excelente. So how's it feel to receive all that praise and goodness and just know that this album and the success that you've already had in your careers is just taking off?
Feels good hearing it from the likes of such a renowned musician himself, DTO. It's nice to be together. Yeah, last time we were in Costa Rica. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
It's raining where I am, and it's morning still, so can't say I don't miss it a little bit out at Embody. It's so beautiful. It's such an incredible campus tour just for a couple of days.
Absolutely. Yeah, where are you located, Ben?
I am in California, Northern California, north of San Francisco. A little bit,
Okay,
Marin County.
nice. Well, there's tropical rains in Costa Rica as well, so it's beautiful.
Is it
Repla-
winter there right now?
Yes, it is. It's the rainy season, and we love it. We're planting. We got bananas, bamboo, cacao, jackfruit, you name it. We
Oh,
put it in
wow.
the ground and it grows. That's what we love
That's
about
amazing.
living here.
No watering systems
No,
required.
not needed. Not at all.
No
Hey, we got
irrigation.
Sherry Howard here. She gives us a shout out.
Hey,
Three
Sherry.
of my favorite people all in one place.
What's happening?
Hey,
This is the
Mama.
power of live streaming.
Love it. I messaged her to let her know. She said, I was on with DTO when you messaged me.
Coco and Scout, have they had a date?
They have never met. Coco would not be able to see Scout, my baby dog. She is now blind, but she loves Scout from a distance. Sherry is just as in love with Scout as I am with my dog, Coco. This goes around.
Yes.
Now, Ben, on the other hand, is just about done with parenting dogs, it sounds like, later in his life.
Well, see, we had one dog, and then my wife felt like the dog was lonely when we were all at work or my kids were at school. So she convinced us to get a what do you call it? A companion. So now we got two dogs, and they're sweet. You know, they both have a bit of the Napoleon complex. They kind of destroyed my social life when I walk around the hood because they bark at anything slightly larger than them, and they try to be all hard and tough and intimidating.
Are they barking in key? Are they like C majors, C minors, or something?
They do a kind of a tritone thing. They're
tritone.
satanic.
Yeah.
They do the satanic interval.
Yeah.
They really try to scare other canines, you know, because they're savvy to that pitches and everything.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Little dog syndrome.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we get to create music for human organisms and non-human organisms, so dogs alike can enjoy these sounds of this beautiful album.
Right, and you can go above 20,000 hertz for the dogs too, so you can that
naturally. Yeah, that's important.
I feel like this was a really good album to produce in your studio, Ben, when you got one of those new dogs that was more problematic. I feel like the sonic calming waves might be doing good for all of our animal creatures, you know, and human creatures. It may have, I don't know. I want to say maybe I didn't get barked at as much. Could that be true? Could the medicine be real? I mean, this is what music is, right?
It would have to be purely vibe descending from the studio because they're not actually taking in the air the sound waves.
Well, the vibe is real.
It would have to be just the descending vibe.
It's the heart with which I sing into the and the whole valley receives the benefit of those waves, right?
Yeah. Hopefully it's hopefully it's penetrating.
No soundproofing.
Yeah, no soundproofing. Yeah.
You can't stop the vibes even if you had the best soundproofing in the world, right? You're gonna feel it.
Yeah, we keep the vibes oozing out of the studio here.
Beautiful. It's a lovely looking studio. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So this is the album, and let's kick it off by talking about how this is up for consideration for a Grammy. So what kind of action steps, especially if you're a voter out there for the Recording Academy, so tell people what to do so they understand what it means when you are up for consideration. And this is for best new age, ambient, or chant album, which I know is a new category, and that's great. I know that a lot of fellow musicians like ourselves were a part of that movement to make that category exist. Sean Johnson, David Newman, and
Dave Stringer,
Suzanne Sterling.
It takes a team.
John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kamini, powerhouse.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Oh yeah, I recently connected with Kamini. She's amazing. Oh, for sure.
Phenomenal.
And the Oracle Collective, I'm grateful to be a part of that as well. And so, to open up another genre, right? In the past, the Grammys only had so many categories, and it was a challenge for the style of music that we've been sharing, this devotional music, to like fit into. It was either new age or world music, which didn't really always fit
Right.
everything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the drop-down menus don't even have the world category, so it's really hard, on certain websites, whatnot. So, yeah, it's hard to find the exact category for what we do. Kind of ambient world, spirited. I don't know.
I still have, I was actually at a Grammys and artificial intelligence party in LA recently. And I thank you, DTO, for the Chat GPT resource. I realized when I was there how much we can do with artificial intelligence and music. Not that the human is not still an amazing tool, but if we use these tools, we can do a lot. I digress, but I think that with the Grammys categories, I was talking with the LA chapter head about how we could still do a little more work to massage it into something that is accessible for the conscious music world, right? We have chant, and this album is not exactly a chant album, and she actually encouraged us to not pigeonhole ourselves into the chant category before we know what category we land in. But when you're a person who loves music, you might know other people who love music and might know other people who are in the Grammys Recording Academy that you are not aware of. So what you can do, if you are or are not a Recording Academy member, you can share this message, share Yoga Soundtracks Volume 2, that it is up for potential opportunity within the Recording Academy, whatever category it lands in, because there are categories that are growing and conversations that are happening to make the correct categories for this kind of music. This is chant. It's in English. We use Rumi poems and a lot of other tools in our native tongue that reflect the chant, kind of Sanskrit and other sacred languages that I have been singing for a long time, and Ben, you've been producing. So we kind of have this unique a unique delivery of this chant music in this case. So I think it's an interesting conversation, but you can share it. You can also, if you are in the Recording Academy, we just got through the first voting and there will be more voting. Have it on your radar. Make sure your other sacred music fans know that it's there and can give us a little bit of love.
Yes. Well, congrats for the completion of the album, for having these categories that have opened up at the Grammys. And let's trust that people that are watching know someone or possibly you're a voter so you can support. So thank you so much. All right. So this 5Q interview, we're going to kick it off with question number 1. And just like every superhero story, we always want to know the origin of how you both became musicians and how you arrived to this place in your life. So let's kick it off with question number 1. And let's have Johanna answer. So take us back in time. How did you discover music?
Well, I think I kind of came out singing. About when I started to speak, I was singing. And my dad was a huge Beatles fan. He started a little festival called the Beatles Fest. So the apple does not fall far from the tree. I love the festival circuit. I love people being together in music, and in that there is medicine. And so I ran around these little festivals in my hometown playing until I was old enough to start singing. But I remember I grew up in the 80s, just to give you a little idea. So I was listening to things like Mariah Carey's Christmas album. You remember that? I mean, it's kind of turned into her whole career, but Michael Jackson was a huge inspiration because of the kind of dance quality and also really positive messaging. So I loved that song, Heal the World, Man in the Mirror. I really loved the transformational quality to a lot of the music that I listened to. But I've gone through a lot of musical genres actually in my musical journey, and the heart-centered female vocal thing really got me. But what I started to do in order to get through problems, like my mom and I would get in a fight, I'd go off and slam the door. And I think I was 9 the first time I wrote a song in that state, and it was called Just a Little More Love. And the words are just a little more love, that's all we need, just a little more hope for the world to see. And it's just this idea of the only thing that we need at any point is love. So I feel like I'm full circle back there in my musical journey, is that I went through the moody broody teenage singer-songwriter thing in coffee shops playing my first gigs and that kind of thing. And it didn't work for me because I was programming myself a certain way, and that's why I'm so attracted to conscious music. This was a long answer to how did I discover music. There were music parties in my living room. I would go, my parents had a lot of musician friends, and I would go and fall asleep by the door so that I could hear everyone playing and singing, and that would be really my root. It's just I breathe this thing.
Love it. Thank you. All right, Ben, how did it begin?
Good question. I was trying to remember, I have to say that my brother had turned me on to a bunch of music. He was a couple years older, and he would bring home like 45s from the record store, Michael Jackson, Elton John, and it's just I just immediately took to the magic of it and to the emotional expression of it, and it just brought joy and magic to life. So I was kind of immediately hooked, I think, from a young age. My parents were reasonably musical. My dad played piano and flute. My mother was a cellist. And they had a decent record collection as well. There'd be some Jimmy Cliff, Rolling Stones, Ruby Tuesday kind of thing. So yeah, I was like Johanna. When I was 8, I wrote some song like "Music is a Way of Life" or something like that. It wasn't nearly as good as Johanna's. I really actually was impressed with your 9-year-old song. There was nice. Mine was really silly. I'm gonna say I totally forgot it, so I don't have to sing it. But it was the same idea. It was just sort of like, wow, this is what we need. This brings the joy and the love and the mystery and the magic, and what else do you want? It's all right there. It's all right there in music. So
amazing.
Yeah, I was pretty hooked from a young age.
That's amazing. All right, so for the both of you, once you listened, and then at some point there's got to be this like aha moment, or gradually you start to get inspired by music. And so question 2 leads into what inspired you personally to then create the music. Was it an instrument? You start to sing, and then of course now you have music career. So what was that inspiration to create?
Well, for me, it was really a way of surviving. Music has saved my life multiple times. I've been through a lot, as humans do, and I needed to create music. It wasn't really an option at some point. It was a way of cathartically moving through painful moments, transforming darkness into light, finding solace in this thing that is living but responds differently than a human might. This music has a life of its own, and it just kind of, like Ben said, it hooked me. There's a warning, very addictive quality to music, to our listeners. And so I didn't have a choice, and I picked up the guitar. My uncle is a classical guitarist. Anytime I pick up a musician in Kansas City, they've generally taken lessons from my uncle Larry. Thank you, Larry Beekman. Anyone in Kansas City, go to him. He's the best. And so I picked up the guitar. I think I was early teenage years, and that A Little More Love song, my dad produced a really 80s version of it when I was maybe 10 or 11, because the choir teacher guy would not give me a solo because his stepdaughter was getting all the solos, one of those situations. And so I brought in a cassette tape with this music that we had created, me and my dad, and he had the 80s keys, bam, bam, and the teacher responded to it, and I got a solo in the Phantom of the Opera is there inside your mind. Finally I got recognized. So what needed to happen for me was continuing in that expression. I wasn't a popular kid. I was bullied a lot, and I was an ADHD child, and now I have these tools of yoga, breath work, music. And I don't need to take all of that medication stuff that we think in this world we do, because there are tools within yoga and the breath work that goes along with singing that rewire neural pathways and help us to increase focus, increase our human relations qualities. You know, there's really beautiful qualities to this that I really couldn't pass up. So I began to write songs with the guitar and sing in coffee shops. I had a folk project. Reverend Isaiah Jones moved to my hometown, a little whitewashed Oregon town, and he was a beautiful Black man that had toured with the Fifth Element, that song, "This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius." So he'd just done his LA Live world tour, all of that. And he moved to my town, and Spirit told him that he needed to teach us to have faith. And so we were trying to sing and hold rhythm and clap at the same time. And it was really hard, but it really launched me into more of a career. He started soloing me on and teaching me to really unleash that quality of longing for something greater than the human experience. And so that's what I really bring into this sacred music world, is a more powerful heart space that's not just quiet music always, which this is a very quiet album, but I have a very strong light that wants to be presented in that way and heal through sometimes more intense festival circuit performances and that kind of thing.
Yes. So great. Thank you. All right, Ben, what inspired you to create music?
Well, Johanna, now I see where you got your blues and gospel. That's great, from the Reverend. Well, I always give it to Led Zeppelin. You know, when people ask this question, what inspired me to create music? Because, you know, growing up, my household wasn't super emotionally expressive. And when I heard Led Zeppelin 2 was the album. It completely rocked my world. And, you know, something about it allowed me to feel a lot of emotions. It allowed me to feel deeply. And I just remember that being a huge moment right there where I was like, oh, wow. And so, as I said, you know, growing up in a household that was not, so it was a little repressed emotionally, when I was able to like feel Led Zeppelin and sing Led Zeppelin, and eventually like learn John Bonham licks on the drums, and it was just kind of opened things up for me, and just sort of really put me directly on the path of like, oh yeah, this is what I need to do. I need to create music.
Yes, whole lot of love.
Whole lot of love.
Awesome. So now, with these inspirations, these experiences you had with and choosing to move forward with your own path and your own career, so the projects that you've put out there in the world, the songs, albums, everything, my third question is, how do people respond to your music? Are there some memories of people that came up to you after a performance, or people that have written you, or maybe just told you in person about how your music had an impact into your life? So give us some examples of that, or you could just speak more generalities of how people respond.
Thanks, DTO. It's been an interesting journey, actually, since I went through so many musical iterations, and I had a rock band and all of this stuff. Very different responses there, played at different kinds of festivals. And here in this sacred world of music and mantra, and I've been touring in this circuit for about 10 years, it's been really beautiful to see, without the elixir of alcohol present, how people's hearts are available during live performance. And as a musician, it's really hard to get out of that world of alcohol being a part of the performance experience. And so I've had a lot of people come up to me. I remember one woman, I'd seen her a few years in a row. She'd come to see me, and she said, "Thank you for this album that accompanies my lullaby yoga class. It's called Beyond Love." And she'd had a friend that had been diagnosed with cancer, and they'd listened to it on repeat as they were on hospice, as her friend was on hospice. And then she came to my class to do that practice. And that was one of the first moments that I really got what I was doing for people with this new genre and the way that these words and these vibrations are healing for people. And she and others in my restorative lullaby yoga class, it's sound healing, mantras, meditation, pranayama, restorative yoga, all these tools packaged into one as we travel through an inner child journey. People have responded to this in a way that I would have never really expected. I knew that I was teaching what I needed. I knew it was powerful, but people are having life-changing experiences from the yoga and music together. I remember another time I was playing at some sort of a yoga festival in a park in Arizona, and there was this man that looked a little out of place, and he came up to me afterwards and he said, I don't know what kind of music you're doing here, but I was going to take my life today. And I heard that song with the light in it. It's a song called The Light Inside, and it's about transforming this darkness inside into light and surviving life in a way. And it's a song that I sang to my inner child for her to feel safe and whole and all of these things. So I was singing this song, he heard it, and he decided not to take his life and thanked me. And these are the what for moments, you know, what am I doing this for? Why do I pour my heart into this path? It's because people are receiving medicine and they are not only surviving, but possibly thriving, not just because of my music. It's a transmission. It's from people like me who are tuned in with something greater that's singing through them, through their heart space. I really firmly believe that music is medicine, and the vibration of music can save people.
Thank you, Johanna. Extraordinary. Okay, Ben.
That's exactly it, Johanna. It's the same experience I've had, and it's kind of what keeps me going. There are times where I feel like, I got to get a new job. It's too much of a grind. And then I'll, pretty much on cue, when I start thinking those things, I'll get an email or something from somebody. It just kind of shifts me right back to my path. And those are the emails like Johanna was just describing, of people who were reaching out and telling you that you helped them through extremely dark periods in their time, in their life. I've got messages about, someone that helped them through a period of incarceration. There's been multiple emails about, you helped me work through an extremely challenging, dark period of my life. People emailing about, yes, we love your music so much. We used it, during the birth of our child. These kind of things where you start to feel like, yes, your music does have impact, and you are doing important work, and it's not just you muddling on a computer, muddling on a computer, creating music, that it actually is getting out and is doing what you'd like it to do, touching people, healing people, helping people survive, helping people thrive, hopefully helping people experience bliss and beauty and love, or, like I said, feeling. See, for me, like, people say, why do you listen to all this dark music? Why do you listen to this depressing music? It's like, for me, I get joy out of that. And I don't understand why other people, other people are like, I gotta listen to peppy, upbeat music. Like, for me, when I hear another human being expressing some intense emotions, or something that they went through, some heartbreak, some longing, some loss, I feel that communal human experience. And that brings me a feeling of peace and love and joy, that, like, yes, you feel that too. Thank you for expressing it, because we all feel it. So I love this sappy, sad, heart pulling at your heartstrings kind of songs. That's why when I play at a campfire at family camp, I'm like, guys, you got to understand, I only know like the somber songs. I don't know all this, this fun, upbeat stuff. But anyway, how did I get on that? So that's music right there. That's to have that common emotional experience. and know that other people are having it too. And that is somehow relates to the question that you asked.
Yeah, and well, by the way, if Ben were to ever try to get out of the music industry, I think we'd all have an intervention, right, Johanna?
Oh yeah, we've talked
Appreciate
about
the
it.
support.
Ben and I have been talking about this for 10 years. Every time I'm like, I don't know, I'm growing up. Maybe I need a day job. He's like, maybe I do too. I was like, no, we do this every
No.
year, and neither of us are quitting music. It's not happening in any ever really.
True,
Because
It's not happening.
music is life. It's you know.
Absolutely. I love it. So
Yeah.
talking about music, how did your Yoga Soundtracks Volume 2 come to life? And yeah, feel free to share about the whole synergy of how this project came about.
Oh, me first again. Wow, it's a lot of responsibility. Well, actually, it was kind of my idea, so I'll take that. I was working on the Mantra Sangha Health and Healing official music video and audio, and during the pandemic. And the reason that I did that was, well, we were in a pandemic, and I ordered all of the stuff that I needed via Ben's advice on how to finish one of the tracks we were working on. So I got this little recording studio set up, and you know, it took us 2 hours to figure out. I'm like trying to figure out why my mic wasn't working. It was backwards, you know, that kind of thing. So we went from there to this whole music video, and it was an incredible thing with Krishna Das, Girish, and Sri Shaktiyama in India, 24 Bhakti artists celebrating and singing this mantra. And Hans Christian also helped with production, and these two helped me to be able to be empowered in my studio, which I'm eternally grateful for. And with that power, Hans Christian had this thought, and he's an incredible instrumentalist. Check him out. He's mastered every album of mine and worked with a lot of artists as well. But he said, he called me up and he said, you know, you and Ben have a lot of incredible music. Why don't you do an instrumental album? And I thought, I'm a vocalist. I could do that. We could do something like that. Let me call Ben and see. I mean, I definitely envisioned something stripped down at that time, but I didn't know what it would look like. So I gave Ben a call and I said, hey, Hans had this idea. I've got all these tracks. One of my albums was self-produced, but Ben did production consultation, and that's Heartbeats 1. We used just a couple of songs off of that. And Ben thought, then Ben, I don't know, I might need help with this. Then what happened?
All right, Tiger.
Yes. So nice handoff. Good. Leaving something for me. I appreciate that, because I was like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? Right, exactly. So it came from Hans Christian, and we have created almost 2.5, a lot of music together where we have, you know, we really got into the production and trying to create evocative, engaging production. And I really like the idea, because there's a lot of times where, you know, vocalists, man, they just get in the way of your production. You got to get rid of them. No, there's a lot of times when you, okay, that wasn't funny. There's a lot of times when you,
I'm cracking up, but inside, I'll
there's a lot of times when you're producing and you end up adding so much that all the kind of little elements that are gurgling underneath there, they just become subliminal, and they don't really get that appreciated. And so through this, we were able to kind of bring up some of those elements and almost feature them at times, you know, like a remix of sorts. So that was actually really cool to have that opportunity. Now, Johanna, again, Johanna's a vocalist. So how do we do an instrumental album and have like Johanna like really involved, besides being, you know, the songwriter and co-composer? And we're both really, really kind of into pop music. So we like having hooks, and we like having memorable, repeated hooks. So we decided, and for me, I've done a lot of music in kirtan and bhajans, and I'm producing other artists and helping them. And I still feel like I'm not necessarily enough of a devotee or what have you to be using Sanskrit for my solo projects. So I thought, why don't we try to create memorable inspiring, helpful hooks, moments that are in English instead of Sanskrit. So, like Rumi poems or phrases about how do you phrase that, Johanna? Like, the beauty we love is what we do. What are some of the other hooks that we have?
Right. So that one I'd written when I was 16 in a songwriting workshop into something. I couldn't remember the melody, and I thought, that's such a beautiful poem. Let's do that. Then we were talking about how to create lyrical content that is like a mantra, but without using Sanskrit. So
yes, and without being too, what do you call it? Too preachy.
Right.
How do
So
you say things in English about how to live a more spiritual or deeper life or connect with God or what have you, without throwing out cliches or sounding like you're what do you call it? Like didactic. That
right.
word's too big for my brain, but I heard it used once in a coffee shop. So I just thought I'd throw it out there and see.
Throw it in there.
Yeah.
How does I mean we are what did you think? You like it?
Didactic means like I don't know, like trying to instruct.
He's the professor here.
Perfecto.
Okay.
Continue.
Professor,
Yeah, you nailed the landing.
Yeah, so I think there was a track that was based on a Tara chant that we thought about what does Tara represent in Hinduism,
Right.
in Buddhism, what energy do we want to tap into there? And Ben is compassion, exactly. And Ben's this incredible drummer, and he's always got these crazy rhythms and vibes that come into tracks. And he started doing some vibey stuff, and I was like, I'm here, I'm listening. I feel it opening. In compassion, we rise, rise. And then we started to write together. He's like, oh, that's good. Oh, what were you singing? And I was singing it really quietly, and then I started singing it a little louder. And then we start writing, from mud the lotus blooms, compassion's coming through. And together we rise, rise, rise into magnificence. And this takes us like an hour or two after that. Like, it's like the first line's great, and then we're like, English language. From mud the lotus blooms, compassion's coming through, and together we rise, rise, rise into magnificence. Our reach is infinite.
Right.
And together we will rise, rise, rise.
Yeah.
So those kind of reminders of who we really are as humans on this earth plane. We're living this spiritual life, and it's so mundane, and we're so bored. And so it's like, how can we tap into that essence of God, capital S, self within, or something greater, with this lyrical content reminding us that we are greater than just this human body, that we are compassion in living action. For me, I like to wire my brain in this way rather than sorrow, Ben, sorry. But sorry, no sorrow. But that feeling of full compassion and generosity is like, I can just exhale when I think of behind the songs, the essence of what we were really workshopping together as in our friendship, Ben. It's really cool. We think about the same things. And that's what this album felt like. It came through as these reminders. What else did we have? Love Lives. How did that come about?
It's always good to sing about love.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember how that came about, but
here's the visual of the project, so everyone can take a peek. And so how many total songs are on this project?
8.
We got 7.
7 songs.
7, I think. Yeah.
Great, lucky number 7.
Remind you, and some peace songs, and some compassion songs, and some love songs of the most important non-romantic type, of course.
So we have a testimonial from Sherry. We're going to put up on the screen. Johanna and Ben's music. New album is so healing and beautiful. I was just listening to it a few days ago, and I can feel the beautiful heart and uplifting energy in all the music. DTO, Ben, and Johanna, your music is healing to the planet. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Sherry.
Oh, Sherry.
We love you, Sherry.
So much.
Sherry
good.
and I led a Costa Rica retreat last year, and I think we're taking a year off because I'm exhausted and I'm reformulating some things. But I do hope to come back and share some more music, yoga, chanting, and good vibes with all of y'all in the Costa Rica world.
Pura vida.
Pura vida, baby. Yeah.
So let's just jump into question 5 here, which is more of like an opportunity. So for each of you, you can have the chance to share any closing words, advice, wisdom. If you want to invite anyone into anything that you are offering right now in the world. I know, Ben, you have amazing studio skills, engineering, production, songwriting. And I know, Johanna, you have an opportunity that people could sign up for as well. So I'll give the floor to you, Johanna, ladies first, and then feel free to share whatever you'd like. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, I have an online program that is an opportunity to drop into lullaby yoga. It's called, actually, you can go to johannasings.com/5 days. If DTO could put it in the chat, that'd be amazing. And you can go online and check out this program. It's a 20-minute practice. You can do it from anywhere in the world. It's these beautiful sonic journeys with poses that you can add into your practice and reset your nervous system. You can increase your sleep and decrease your stress. And here's a little story about it. So I created Lullaby Yoga in one of the most difficult times in my life to help me recover from a terrible car crash. I was hit by a drunk driver. My doctors told me I would not practice yoga in the same way. So I developed this form of yoga to heal safely through mantras and through music. And I was able to get out of debilitating pain, headaches, and brain fog, and felt more peace of mind and soul connection than ever before in my life after practicing just for a few months. And soon I began sharing lullaby yoga with friends and yoga students. My teacher actually, after seeing it the first time, said, this needs to be everywhere. There is something magical about this experience and it can help people everywhere. So I started to tour. And that was within 4 months of being told I couldn't practice yoga. I was traveling, teaching this all around the world country. And there's some testimonials, people who have benefited from the practice. It's johannasings.com/5 days. Also, if you want to drop into Free Your Soul's Voice, I do online and in-person vocal play shops where we use interactive theater games and questioning of our thoughts and false beliefs, and some tools through the work of Byron Katie and other certifications that I've received over the time on this planet. And I've seen a lot of connection between yoga and vocal teaching from my Western vocal teachers, my Eastern vocal teachers, and my physical asana practicing teachers. I've seen that there is a commonality and a place where all of these pieces meet that can reset our nervous system. And so if you want to talk to me about that, you can just shoot me an email at info@johannasings.com, and we can set up a free 15-minute complimentary session to see how we vibe and go from there.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
okay.
Power your speaking and your singing voice in all ways. Okay, Ben, what you got?
Well, I just yawned and I didn't know I was on camera, so I just wanted to explain. It's not.
We'll make you a big screen here.
So we were up late last night. We put on a Halloween thing for the neighborhood. We had a big spooky spread, but we also had Taylor Swift karaoke for the kids. So it was a late evening. So I apologize for. I'm not bored with this particular situation here. I was just got about 4 hours of sleep. So I probably didn't need to bring any attention to that because probably no one noticed. But closing words of wisdom. Well, I just thank you for listening. And really, it's just, and I just hope that the arts and I hope that music will continue to be at the forefront of what people reach for to help them through life. And I'm a music producer, so am I supposed to promote myself right now?
How about this?
We got you all over the screen. BenLeinbachmusic.com, that's your website. This is like the epitome of promotion.
Wait, if you don't want to talk about
I'm really bad at this.
Okay, Ben Leinbach is the best producer.
Okay,
I will give you a testimonial. I had been hearing his music in yoga classes for years, and then I was playing at this festival early in my mantra rebirth career, at a festival that's no longer in Ashland, Oregon, and called Prana Fest. And he had this album that's gorgeous with Pragnia Vieira called Amrita, and they were singing a duo. And she was playing piano, he was playing guitar, and I saw them. I started getting tears in my eyes. I was just starting to work on my mantra album, and my heart cracked open. And I was one of those emails to Ben that said, something happened when I saw you perform. My friend Benji Wertheimer sent me to him for production consultation because I was halfway through this album and needed some help because I'm learning. The engineering is not my thing. Anyway,
Did you say engineering?
Bengineering is his thing. So
Gotcha.
I wrote him an email just saying, I love your music. I would be honored if you would consider maybe working with me. All the stars in my eyes. And he's like, yo, let's just have a conversation. He's a really grounded, down to earth guy. Is that okay for me to share that? Anyway, Ben took my music and took it to the next level. And I have to say that without him on my team, I don't know that I would have launched this phase of my career to the caliber that I did. So anyone who's thinking about producing music and sacred music or any music, he creates these soundscapes that really highlight the vocalist and musician's potential. And he sees that and he's able to tease out this diamond from this rough possible enterprise. So take it to him. He knows what to do. Yeah.
That was much, that just was much easier than me trying to do it. So it seemed much easier than me trying to do that. So thank you.
He's a humble guy, but man, does he do well when he gets behind that screen and does his magic.
So please just check out the album, vote for it for the Grammys, and check out Johanna's offerings. Lots of great offerings, and just thank you, DTO, and
follow us on all streaming platforms. Check out our album here for Grammy consideration, and also sign up for both of our mailing lists. You can go online to either of our websites, sign up for the mailing list, know where we are in the world, what we're doing, what we're offering as far as online courses that are accessible to anyone, anywhere. These things happen, so please stay in touch. We'd love to see you again and serve your uplifting and enlightenment in whatever we can do on your journey.
Yes. One big shout out from Sherry again. Thank you, Sherry, for being here. Ben's amazing. I plan to record with Ben after I finish some project with DTO. I've been listening to it for many years. It was so sweet to play with Ben and Johanna at Bhakti Love Reunion. Amazing.
Great, Sherry. I look forward to that. Look, I got a gig out of the interview.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
I've been working on her for a year or so, but Sherry's
happening.
Actually, Sherry has music. Also, check her out on all streaming platforms.
Absolutely.
I have all her files hostage too right now. So
there you go. There you go.
How many tracks do we have hostage? Oh my God.
gigs of Sherry Howard music on my hard drive.
Oh man, here we go.
Perfect.
Lockdown.
That's a sign of love, right? How many gigs of my content?
Right? Actually,
in the cloud.
It's in the cloud. My cloud is full. I have terabytes in the cloud now. Anyway, Ben, I have a couple of songs that I think are sitting somewhere in your cloud. So now that we have birthed this Yoga Soundtracks Volume 2 album,
Volume 3.
Maybe Volume 3. I mean,
once you start naming, then it's.
I mean, we do love playing music together, and actually, I wanted to speak to that. Volume 1 was Ben's project, and since I'm a singing yoga teacher and I've been having some success in that world, we thought to make Volume 2 a collaboration, and I just wanted to honor Ben for that generous gesture, and also say that you're the best guy to do a project like that with. No offense to you.
Well, we haven't worked together yet, but I think we'd be in
we will.
Or we'll do, we can all just.
I'm about to buy Ableton. Things are going to get wild.
Yeah, Ableton's a whole portal of possibilities.
Yeah, things will get wild.
All DAWs are differently bred.
Mm-hmm.
Can't teach an old DAW new tricks.
I'm not old yet. I got plenty of tricks in me.
I know. So the digital audio workstation is what we're talking about. Ableton, for those people that don't know, there's all these ways people produce music behind the scenes. Back in the day, I had a Tascam 4-track recorder, cassette tape, multi-track. So yeah, we've been in it for a while. So thank you, Ben. Thank you, Johanna. Thank you for joining the 5Q interview. I think we all know a lot more about you, which is fantastic. And most importantly, we're going to learn deeper knowledge, feelings, understandings when everyone out there gets to listen to this beautiful project, available on all streaming platforms. And again, if you're a Grammy recording artist that can vote for this beautiful, amazing album. And we appreciate everyone for listening, and keep on enjoying your day. See you both.
Bandcamp
Thank you.
Friday.
Bandcamp Friday.
Peace.
You're welcome. Ciao.
Thanks so much.